Hey, you guys. Hello, you guys. I wanted to pop on today. I had a thought of some things that I have overcome and some things that I love. If you are new here, I am LaTersa Blakely, and I want this channel and your experience to be a positive one. I'm here for you guys. This channel is all about positivity, entrepreneurship, and personal hygienes and self-care. So if you love those types of topics, then this channel is for you. But today I'm going to be sharing with you some life lessons that I wish I had known as a young girl. So if you are new here, make sure you comment in the comment section. Let me know your name, where you're from, so that I can give you a proper shout out. And so listen, this channel, I typically do videos every week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have not already subscribed, go ahead and do so at this moment. So we're going to jump right into it, you guys. These are some things that I was jotting down as I was sitting there in my quiet time. And I just really wanted to share with you guys, and maybe it'll help somebody out there, because that's all I really want to do, is to help women all across the globe to be their best and highest self, and to actually help them believe that, yes, you are absolutely enough. So I hope something on this channel I say today blesses you. So we're going to jump right into it. So the first life lesson, you guys, I wish I had known as a young girl is not try to fit in so much. When I was a young girl, I wanted to be liked by everybody. Can y'all relate to that? I wanted to do everything to make everybody happy. I didn't want anybody mad at me. I didn't want anybody upset with me. And I really, truly wanted to fit in, when really looking back on it, I didn't fit in, because I was always different. I was that young girl that liked to try stuff. I wasn't afraid of anything. And so I got looked at as I was always the weird one. Can you guys relate to that? Like, you look back over your life and you feel like you didn't fit in. It's probably a reason why you didn't fit in, because you weren't supposed to. But when you're young, you want to have a lot of friends. You want to have people to adore you and praise you and like you and all that stuff. That all goes apart with you growing up. So that was the first lesson I wish I had known early on, because it probably would have saved me a lot of time and stress, worrying about, am I good enough and all of that stuff. And then the second lesson that I learned was not to worry my pretty little head off all the time. I worried about everything, stuff that wasn't even probably happening. I was always trying to be proactive. If this happened, what will I do in this situation? If that happened, what would I do in this situation? I always was trying to plan ahead. And how many of you know you can't really predict what the next day is going to hold? All you can do is plan for the best, hope for the best, and pray to God that you live to see the next day. But I worried so much as a young girl that a lot of stuff that I worried about, looking back on, it never did happen. But that was just my fear in the way my brain, I guess, was set up, that I always was worrying about stuff that didn't. Looking back on, I used to worry about a lot of stuff. But thank God that, as you grow older, you get wiser. And so these are some things that I wish I could have told my younger self. And then the third thing is that I don't have to be perfect in everything. I was always trying to do everything the way people wanted me to do them. I was always trying to do things the way people, you know how you always try to go above and beyond, but I did that extra stuff because I really, truly wanted to be the best in everything that I did. So I overachieved in a lot of areas. And all of that stems back to not feeling that I was good enough. So the younger girl in me, I try to overachieve to substitute for the pain that I felt on the inside. So if you guys have ever been in a situation where you try to overachieve in one area because you feel you lacking in another area, does that make sense to you guys? So when I was younger, I would get upset with myself and put all these expectations on myself to really be more than what I should have been, because I felt if I can't feel like I'm good enough, if she couldn't feel like she was good enough, she was going to overachieve academically, she was going to overachieve in her social activities, she was going to be the best in everything else, but that one little thing she couldn't get. She couldn't figure out why she felt like she wasn't good enough. That was the younger girl in me. That's why if you look back over my life, some of you guys have been rolling with me since diaper cake days, where you felt like it was just so much for me to achieve. And when you're insecure or anything like that, you try to over accomplish and overachieve in other areas, the areas that you can control, the areas that you have power over. When really looking back on it, I had more power than I thought I did, because you can only control you. So when you're trying to cover up your insecurities, you go above and beyond to be seen. You go above and beyond to get attention, because you feel like you're lacking something. You feel like you're not worthy. So you try to overachieve, over accomplish in every area, and try to always be in the spotlight. And I was very competitive as a young girl, very competitive. I was always competing, whether it was cheerleader, academic wise, because I always felt like, why don't I feel like I'm good enough? That was something that I wish I had took the time. As a young girl, you just want to be liked. You don't really be thinking about all this stuff that you think about as an adult. But as a young girl, you just want to fit in. You want to be liked. You want to be loved. And so when you feel like you're not being loved or you're not good enough, you search for attention in other places. You search for attention in relationships. You search for attention academically. As long as somebody is patting you on the back, you feel good, right? So when you are at that level where you look back over your life, I encourage you guys to look back over your life and see where you have been insecure in certain aspects of your life, but you try to overachieve. And now with the way social media is going on, it's damaging a lot of people, because they're looking for the likes. They're looking, because I know when I first came on the scene back years ago, if you didn't like my post, I probably would cry, because I thought something was wrong with me. That's that young girl still hurting that was coming out. And so you want to be able to be in a place where you are comfortable in who you are, because if you allow social media and strangers and people that don't even know you to dictate how you feel about you, you in serious trouble. Thank God social media went back there when I was a young lady, young kid. So, but that was number 2. And then, number 3. And number 4 was, as a young girl, it wasn't that I wasn't taught properly how to clean my body, but I think my mom did the best she could. But a lot of times I would get teased or bullied about my body odor. And growing up, I would take 10s and 50s. I think I used to take at least 7 or 8 showers, because I was always self-conscious. But it's just that I didn't understand my own body odor like I do as a woman now. And so a lot of things you just learn as you get older. And so looking back on it, the younger girl in me spent a lot of time worrying about what people think, what people going to say, and all of that stuff. If you said anything that even mentioned the sound of smell, I was running to the nearest shower. I know a lot of you guys probably looking at me like, this girl is crazy, but the younger girl in me used to do some crazy stuff. And so that was one of my insecurity. Like, I always was trying different deodorants, always was trying different body scrubs. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And now as an adult, a grown woman, I get it now. But being the younger girl, this is stuff I probably wish my mama had taught me, that it's okay if you feel yourself getting sweaty. You can go take a shower. It's nothing wrong with that. You're learning your body chemistry. So that was another thing that I wish I had learned early on. It's nothing shameful about it if you sweat a lot. You can go take as many showers as you like. But that was something that I had to learn over time. And then the next one is real friends build you up. They don't tear you down. They don't make you feel bad. When you share certain things with them, they don't blast you. Well, now they blast you on social media, but back then I didn't have social media. So real friends, you have to be able to distinguish the difference between an associate and a real friend. Because at the end of the day, a real friend is going to be someone that builds you up, lifts you up, always have an encouraging word. They're going to be there to tell you the truth, the honest truth. But at the end of the day, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the signs, because everybody that you put a label on as friends is not necessarily your friend. As a young girl, I wanted to be liked. I wanted everybody to like me. I even learned at an early age, because I dealt with childhood bullying. So I learned at an early age, if I bake my cookies, if I bring candy to school, girls in my class would like me, or guys would pay attention to me if I cook, because I loved cooking when I was young. I still do, but this is something that the young girl picked up on. If I bring snacks and goodies, everybody would like me. That's not always the case. That's not what a true friend is. A true friend is somebody that's riding with you when you don't have no snacks to share. A true friend is somebody that's riding with you when you don't have a car. Y'all getting on the bus together. That's why, as my daughter now, she's a young girl, I always tell her, when she always say, Mommy, I got lots of friends. I'm like, sweetheart, you can't put friend label on everybody, because you're going to outgrow people as you get older. Your friends you had in kindergarten, you're not going to have those same friends 5 or 6 years from now. That's just not how it goes. But as the younger girl, I thought everybody was my friend. And I found out years later that that's not how that rolls. You can have a lot of associates, but you don't have friends. You can't put a label for friends on everybody. And now with the way social media is, you get your popularity by how many friends you got on Facebook, how many friends you got on Twitter. Half of them people you're never even going to see. And then you give so much of your power away to people who don't even really know you in person. They know what you put on social media. And that's why I say the younger girl in me, especially even when I first started in entrepreneurship, you got to be careful what you share, because social media it can be the death of you if you're very insecure, if you're very sensitive, because social media have some cyberbullies, and they are just that, cyberbullies. They hide behind a laptop or a desktop, and they say sometimes some of the harmful things, but when you're insecure and you don't know yourself, you take what they say like a grain of salt, and it damages your self-esteem, your self-confidence. So that younger girl in me didn't understand, if people don't like my post, if it was something meaningful and valuable that I thought that I needed to share, then it's okay to share it. And then too, you have to distinguish how much of your life you want to share. You have to have something just for you. You have to have something that's just for you. Everybody can't be in that inner circle with you. So when you learn those lessons of the difference between an associate and friends, it helps you to maneuver throughout your life, because you're not so as quick to put a label on friendships. And I'll give you a prime example. I had a friend, and we were friends for years, and I shared some of the most deepest private personal things, and towards the end of the friendship, it started getting really toxic. Like things that I've shared with this person years ago, she would bring it back up as in like a little joke. And that let me knew right then that it was time, for that friendship to end. So you have to be able to distinguish when it's time to label someone as a friend, or do you need to take your time and get to know an individual. So that was lesson number 5. And then the next lesson is, don't dim your light to make other people feel good. See, I was that young girl that didn't mind taking a risk. I always tried new things. I was the outgoing, outspoken young girl. I was the one that, I'll try anything once. I was always the one that's traveling, speaking, doing all of that stuff. And I used to dim my light because people would always make fun of me. Like, why are you trying that? I remember when I was trying out for All American, I tried out 3 times, you guys, before I actually made it. And I had friends, I had classmates laughing at me. Why are you going to go back and try it again? You dumb. You stupid for doing that. You're going to embarrass yourself. But it was something on the inside of me that I always wanted to keep going, because I knew eventually one day I was going to make it. I did finally make it. But it was the perseverance. It was that something inside of me that really, truly wanted to win. And when you have that mentality where you really, truly want to win, you will keep going even when people are laughing at you. You will keep going even when people are saying negative things about you. You have to learn how to build, as my father used to tell me as a young girl, build some tough skin, because you're going to run into some people that's going to hurt your feelings. You may run into some people that make you feel like you're less than. But here's my advice that I would tell my younger self. They only make you feel insecure or degrade you with your permission. If you don't give them permission, nobody can make you feel less than without you giving them permission. So that's where I would say to any young girl, learn how to take your focus towards stuff that doesn't serve you. When things no longer serve you, you take your attention away from it, because the longer you feed into it, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And that was something that as a young girl, I didn't know how to deal with negativity, because I was always such an upbeat young girl. When when negativity came my way, it was something like so unsurreal, because I never really bothered anybody. I was that outspoken, fun, giddy girl. So when you learn yourself in the way you are, you won't tolerate the foolishness. You won't tolerate even in social media. With social media, you don't have to follow people that make you feel bad. You don't have to follow people that bring up things you did in your younger days. You don't have to follow anybody that makes you feel, you know how you get that tight feeling when you follow somebody and you know they don't really care for you. You don't have to do that. You have the power to have in your circle who you choose to. It's a choice. And the younger girl in me just wanted to be liked, just wanted to be loved, because I was so much searching for the worthiness, the good enough. That's where you seek a lot of attention. You get in the wrong types of relationship because all you want to do is feel good. And so that was a lesson I had to really learn, that you got to choose where your attention goes. You got to choose what and who you let in your inner circle, because everybody is not always with the best intentions. And then too, you got to really love people for who they are and from where they are, because everybody's not going to be like you and you're not going to be like everybody else. So you got to love people for who they are. But at the same time, you got to learn how to set those boundaries that, you know what? Okay, here's something that doesn't really feel good to me. It's up to you to speak up and say, you know what, this is a problem. You got to be the one to set the tone of how you're feeling inside of these different circles, inside of these different friendships. So once you learn that, you will stop dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. If they're not comfortable around you, then they're not the people for you. You shouldn't have to dim your light and shrink yourself down to make somebody feel comfortable for you. And that was always my thing when I was younger. I always wanted people to feel good. I always wanted people to feel their best, but it would mean me shrinking down, dimming my light to make them feel good. If I achieved something that it wasn't so easy to achieve and everybody else was trying to do it, but they didn't do it, I would play my achievement down just to make them feel good. And that right there, if you do that long enough, you're killing your own spirit. You're killing yourself. And then the next lesson I wish I had learned early on as a young girl was, let people talk, but eventually the truth always has a way of coming out. And so instead of you beating yourself up about what people say about you, how people feel about you, guess what? You will worry yourself to death trying to determine and control what people think about you. Because guess what? They're going to always have an opinion. People are always going to have an assumption about you. That's why it's important for you to know who you are, to know that you're valuable, that you're enough just as you are. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't have to prove nothing. Let people think what they want to think, but you walk in your truth. You stand for what you know is right. And that would have saved me so much time and effort as a young girl. It probably would have saved me a lot of vacations from the psych ward, because it had got so dark at one point when I was younger that suicide seemed like the only answer to me. Because the pain was so bad, and all the young girl wanted to do was just numb the pain. And how many of you know God leaves you here for a reason? And that's what this channel is all about, helping you to believe that you are absolutely enough, period. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You don't have to go try to lose weight to be in this clique, no, this is 2020, a new decade. It's time for you guys to really understand. Stop trying to prove yourself to people that's not even going to like you anyway. Stop trying to be friendships with people that make you feel bad about yourself. Friendship, a healthy friendship or relationship, it edifies, it builds you up. It doesn't tear you down. It doesn't make you feel bad. When you know that you are true to yourself, it's so peaceful. The peace I have in my life today, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. That young girl, she did a lot of crazy stuff. She made tons of mistakes. And as long as I'm still living, gonna make some more. But what I learned from all of that stuff is I'm enough, period. That's what I learned. I'm enough, period. What I want you to learn is you are enough, period. There's nothing else you need to do. There's nothing else you need to say. Let your truth speak for itself. And then my last and final tip is just be yourself. You are enough as you are. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to go try to fit in this clique, buy these type of name brands, talk to this type of man. If you want to talk to, say your family don't believe in you going outside of your race, if that's what makes you happy, sweetheart, you got to do it. Sometimes you make your family members mad, but at the end of the day, would you rather your family members being mad or you being happy? You got a choice to decide. And all I wanted to do today was come on here and share with you some life lessons that I wish I had known at an earlier time in my life. It probably would have bypassed, but I wouldn't trade my journey because it led me to you guys. It led me to being a spokeswoman for women to believe that they're absolutely enough. I hope something I said today blesses you. I hope something I said inspires you to continue on this journey of discovering yourself. There's always something new that you can learn about yourself every day. Always be grateful for the little things. It's the little things that matter, you guys. It makes up all the big things that goes on. So I appreciate all of you that have tuned in, left, came back, whatever. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope that this blesses you. God bless. Remember, you are absolutely enough, period. And everything you need is already on the inside of you. God bless. Mwah.